and good day, Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We're here because we're on a mission to inspire other people to get outside and enjoy camping adventures such as we have as a family. Today's guest is a gentleman we've had the absolute pleasure of having on the podcast about 4 years ago to talk about an amazing canoeing adventure movie he made. It turns out that he's made another gorgeous visual work of art, and he's here to tell us all about it. Please welcome Pete Park of Latitude Wilderness Films. Hey, welcome.
Wow. Well, hello, Tim and Pamela. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a while.
Hello. Thanks for coming out, man.
Absolutely.
I honestly, I've been thinking about it. I don't even know where to start. Good. So North to South was our first sort of introduction. Amazing French River, the old canoe routes, stunning visual piece of work. There is always the discussion about, but I make YouTube videos. Okay. This is a movie, man. So there is a difference to it. Like, I get that you put as many hours in or whatever.
Right.
This is a movie. I've worked in that industry for the better part of 20 years. I can tell you this is a movie versus a video.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So much work. And I'm sure I didn't ask all the right questions back then, because jumping forward, having discussed your new movie that's coming out, it'll come out literally days after this publishes. Oh man. Okay, so let's start with, so what gave you the idea that the movie's called The Canoeist? What gave you the idea that this is something you wanted to do, and that this was sort of the direction that you wanted to go in? Because it's a very unique. It's cool. I'm not going to do any spoilers.
Yeah, it's cool. Want to give stuff away?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. You've had the pleasure of a sneak peek, so
which
I'll probably give
so much.
Oh, of course. No, I was honestly very happy to get your feedback on it. So I do appreciate that very much, especially from someone who's worked in film like you. So it was great to have that feedback. So I appreciate that. And I probably will give away little tidbits here and there as we go along without giving away too much.
You can do it. I'm not going to wear that. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I'll wear it. That's fine. But what gave me the idea? So North to South was a idea that I had back in probably late 2019, early 2020, something like that. And then we filmed it in 2020. Up to that point, I had been known as Ontario Fishing Quest on my channel. So I was, going canoeing, going on a bass boat, going fishing, trying to share fishing tips about bass fishing, muskie fishing, pike, walleye in the province of Ontario, filming stuff with the GoPro Hero 3 Plus and putting out pretty terrible footage. And but I was learning the ropes and I had a lot of fun with it. But when I started canoeing and filming that, I guess I discovered the how I wanted to capture the emotion behind canoeing and why we canoe, why we get out there to do what we do, why we choose to get lost in the wilderness and disconnect, with no cell service or anything like that. So I wanted to try and capture that. And so I put out a series about a trip I did in Temagami that was called 8 Days Solo. And it showed a little bit of, I suppose, the emotion side, or it was kind of some ambience to it. And I really loved that. And I wanted to do more of that. So at the time, and still to this day, even more so, YouTube is pretty saturated with a very similar feel of canoe tripping video. And I'm not knocking anyone who does this, but what I wanted to do was step out and do something that hadn't quite been attempted before. So when I got the idea for The Canoeist, I thought, well, has anyone filmed someone else? And has anyone written a script or filmed someone else doing what a canoeist would do? Or has anyone made a movie, instead of a video? Has someone, unless you go back to like Bill Mason days, has someone done that? And as much as I could research, I didn't see anything that had been done like that in recent years. And so I thought it could be really cool to try my hand at not really a first person vlog type video, but rather coming out with an idea to tell someone's story and tell the story of a solo canoeist and why he chooses to adventure into the wilderness and lose himself out there. So yeah, I guess the idea sparked a creative vein in me that I began writing ideas down, getting ideas of who I would want to film in it as well, getting my cousin Bill on board, and then we started running with it. So the idea was born from wanting to step out and do something different. Not even so much to be noticed, but just to do it because I wanted to do it and because I love doing it. And so, yeah, I'd say that's where the idea came from.
All right, cool. Okay, so how do I not give it away? Well, you know what? Let's start with the nuts and bolts. What kind of camera did you use this time? Not a Hero 3.
Right. No, not the Hero 3. So I use it's actually this camera right now that I'm recording on. This is my good old faithful Lumix G85. And it's a beast of a camera, but in a small package. And so I brought it along and brought along 2 GoPro Hero 9s this time. And I think a third GoPro Hero 8 as well. And so between all 3 of those, we were able to do most of the filming on the good camera in 4K, 24 frames a second. Also going to 30 frames a second for some slow-mo, slowed down 80%, 1080p at 60 frames a second, slowed down to 40%. And that makes a nice, creamy film-like slow-mo look. And then the GoPros were just for action shots, which I will give this away that, there's some rapid segments through this film too, that I'm not going to take this camera in the Canoe for. So it would be, GoPros on the front and the back of the actor's canoe and, get the shots of his face going through rapids or the splashes, that kind of thing. So trying to really capture that raw, first person look of going through rapids and whatnot. So yeah, it was a Lumix G85, which is still an amazing camera, and 3 GoPros.
Sweet. What did you do sound on?
Sound was through a couple of different means. One through a microphone, a Rode microphone that would go on the Lumix camera. And then I also have a separate Tascam portable recorder that we would do double audio with. So what we would do is for a scene that we would film, we would have, so the actor's name is David. I'm just going to say that now, and we'll get into that more later. But, I would film David doing this or that. And so I'd capture the audio from the main camera, and then also have a separate Tascam recording audio on the side as well. And then whatever audio source was better, I would just go with that one. And because usually a separate audio source that's right up by him is, a lot better than the audio from the camera that could be back 10, 15 feet kind of thing. So, and all you do is you just do a clap and you sync up the audio on both sources. You go into post, you line up where the clap is happening, and then you can swap the audio from one to the other. And it really sounds clean and crisp. So yeah, and I'm happy with the way the audio turned out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Just before we started recording it came up that I might be a little anal retentive about editing sound and stuff.
Yeah. Audio really does make most of the experience. I think visually it's huge, but if the audio is terrible, it takes away from any of the visual aspects that you're going for. So
agreed. It's distracting. Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
So you say things like creamy shots, and you talk about frame rates and how it adjusts. Sorry, how it frames the shot. And I don't mean that in a box frame. I mean in
motion.
What kind of a shot you're exactly. That's not a right, like, just pull it out of your butt kind of a thing. How did you? Is it simply just putting in the time to try different things, fail miserably, and until you go, oh, there it is. That's what I want to do. Or we're getting close. I'm going to adjust this. Is that because you have not just the, I don't mean just the, speeds and apertures and things like that. Like not just the mathy parts. There are movements that you make that are cinematic. I don't know a better way to put it. How did you get to, like, this is a visually stunning film for me. Obviously this is a subject I'm in love with, but this is fantastic. Like I'm not going to tell, there are shots that creep around something and then catch a light and it turns into a vista that you didn't see coming, right? Like that sort of stuff. How did all of that come together for you, man? which I know is a long answer.
No, it's okay.
Long fact.
Yeah. Trial and error, big time. North to south filming that was my first attempt at doing something with that cinematic element to it. I had tried bits and pieces of it with GoPros and that, just by doing research on, okay, what frame rate do I film in to do slow-mo? And then how do you actually make it look like it's smooth and fluid and not, staggered and jagged and that kind of a look. And so that was just internet research that told me the frame rates to shoot at, what percentage to slow it down to, like what my timeline frame rate should be in. And so I learned all that and then just tried it on the old GoPros, and it got some like okay results. And then when I got my G85 camera, that was just a world of, wow, this is amazing in 4K, 2430, 60 frames a second in 1080. But and then slowing it down, I would go outside and take random shots. I would film random things. I would film my wife. I would film whatever and just try it and, bring it into DaVinci Resolve and drop it in there, change the percentage of the speed into what would be fluid in a 24 frame a second timeline. And it's like, it's fluid, it's beautiful, it's cinematic. And then you start playing with light and the sun and, the sun rays with your aperture and stuff like that. And it just, wow, it blew my mind when I started discovering what a camera could really do. And I just had to have the know-how how to do it. So it was just through a lot of research, trial and error, annoying people with my camera and, and then just doing it was what solved it for me. So, yeah.
How long did it take you to film this?
So this was filmed over a 5-day period. I think we had scheduled 6 days in case of wind to get the different locations that we were in. But this was filmed over, I think, pretty much a 5-day period from start to finish. And the camera was on most of the time. So 5 days of footage goes into a 47-minute long film after 5 years of editing kind of thing, right? So pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I figured as much. I won't give it away, but I know where you did some of the filming. Are you interested in mentioning where you did the filming?
Sure. So there's 3 different locations that are used in the film. One of them goes without saying because as soon as people see it, they're going to recognize it. French River, obviously, there's a good chunk of the film done there. The whole first half is done there pretty much, especially in the area of the 5 Mile Rapids, Lone Pine Rapid, Big Pine Rapid, and Blue Chute. We do a lot of filming around there, and a big chunk of the story is told in that part. And then the next part is one that the next 2 locations I'll say are not far away, but I wouldn't want to give away the exact location. And that's only because it's a place that I love going to. It's a place that David, Bill, or the people close to us like to go. And so I don't want to give away the exact location, but it's not far away. It's not far away. And if you do enough satellite research on Google, you'd probably be able to find it. But all of that in that Georgian Bay Delta area, and the channels of the French Pickle River, all that area is just stunning to canoe in. It's stunning to film in. So what better location to film in, right?
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so there's yourself and the actor, and is that anybody else in your crew?
So we had my cousin, Bill, along, and Bill was the guy in North to South who paddled along with me. And Bill and I, he's my number one paddling partner. I did the math about a year ago, and it's been even more since then. But at that time, we had paddled over 1,000 kilometers together. And I think now we're probably up at 1,600 kilometers together. And so he's the lead hand. That would be his role in this. So whereas I wrote it, filmed 98% of it, edited it, all of that stuff, promoted it. Bill was the lead hand doing everything. So he would be the one setting up camp if I was filming. He'd also be along holding another camera for a secondary view. I'd look over footage with him and get his ideas. And so he was a key part of it. And so I couldn't have done it without him. So it was Bill and I together in one canoe, and then David, the actor, in his own canoe. And David is portraying a solo canoeist going on a journey for his own reasons. And then Bill and I would chase after him and film him doing his thing. We'd help him carry his portage loads, and because he'd have to do things several times to get the right take, right? And so I'm not going to make him carry a load 3 times over a portage. So we would carry it, and then he'd have to, lift it up, do a shot and whatever. So yeah, I couldn't have done it without Bill. But on the trip, it was just myself, Bill, and David.
I can't believe you got all that footage in 5 days, and that footage is like a whack edited down. So
massively. Yeah. And we didn't know what we were going to encounter either, right? Because we had scheduled this timing. It was the end of September 2021. And so it's going back a long time now. There's a lot of reasons why this has taken so long to come out. But back then we had scheduled this time to go. You have no idea what you're going to encounter. You have no idea what weather's going to be during a 5-day period or 6-day period at the end of September in Ontario, Northern Ontario at that. French River area, the wind can be horrible. It can be terrible. We could have rained, it could have rained for 5 days, but we had the absolute best conditions I think I've ever been out there, not even in the fall, but any time of year. And I mean, I will share a little bit about this because I want to create a bit of interest with people, but there's a segment that the film spends quite a bit of time on, and it's David paddling through mist on a second morning of his trip. And we had no idea that mist was going to be there. We had no idea what we were going to be facing, right? But we took advantage of every opportunity that we had to capture what I think turned out to be some of the best footage that I've ever captured. And it was an unbelievably beautiful, peaceful scene that we knew we've got to take advantage of this. And so we altered our plans for the day in order to spend a lot of time, pretty much all morning, just filming different segments of the mist and David paddling through the mist, in slow motion. I'm so happy with how it turned out. And I know I felt that segment in the film is maybe just a bit long, but Bill reminded me that no, this is where focus needs to be. This is money stuff. You've got to keep this in just like that. And so I kept it in a good lengthy segment there. And I'm excited for people to see that because it was such a beautiful experience to capture. And we were all stunned with just how beautiful it really was. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yes. But I want to wax poetic about it. Nope, shut up.
I was going to say, it's probably literally stunning, but also figuratively, it's got some meaning too.
Yeah. Well, that's part of your visually storytelling. You also do vocal storytelling. When people tell their canoe stories, it's the ones that come out that are the most fun to say are the ones that were the most disastrous, or the ones where you saw something amazing, like paddling a mist-covered lake or mist-covered river. That's going to be one of your favorite stories to tell. You're trying to, you're forever trying to put it into words what that beauty that you saw that day or whatever. Exactly. So I think Bill was bang on by hang in there on it, because I certainly didn't. It didn't feel long to me at all.
Good. I appreciate hearing that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh man,
things resonate.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I keep thinking about how much editing that would be, man.
Yeah.
I don't edit my own videos. Forget it.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It can be painful, but worth it.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And there you go. I mean, having seen the film, yeah, absolutely worth it. But also, I didn't have to do the editing. So
yeah, it was. We feel it was worth your time.
Thank you. Anything for you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Oh, all right. So the mist was a favorite part. Was there anything and you're amazing, catching those sun rays, especially at sort of different heights and stuff like that, was something I noticed where it wasn't quite in your eyes, but it was like the length of the sun rays. There was something about it and the flavor of it. what else did you, what did you really love about doing that?
Yeah. I love playing with the sun because visually it can give you so much depending on what you do, the angle you film it, what you do with your camera, with your aperture and your ND filter, which is a thing you put on the end of your lens where you can adjust for the light so you could stare right into the sun and not be blinded by it. These are all just tricks that I learned during all that time I was playing around filming random people and stuff. But I love capturing the sunlight, the clouds, all of that. Because it's about, it is about David and his journey out there, but he's out there in nature. He's out there in this majestic environment, and the sun is beating down on him at times. Other times the clouds are covering him, but I love trying to capture that and show what he would be seeing. And playing with the light is just really fun. And in post, when you're editing, the things you can do with it, to make it really, really show what you're experiencing when you actually saw it is really, really fun. It's rewarding to do. And sun rays in slow motion is really cool. I like that too. So, so in short, I loved capturing every element of nature and sunlight. Definitely.
Cool. The narration, did you have that, or I was going to say, did you have that written before you went to shoot it, or did you have like an over arc of that idea before you went to shoot?
Well, we started, I didn't have a script written. I just went with the idea of, I have an email pulled up that I sent to David and Bill at the very beginning of all this. And I'm just going to read in my own words what I would have wrote back then. So the vision I have for this film is a poetic ambient story of one canoeist who paddles to find solitude and peace. The words will all be spoken through voiceover. David, you won't have to speak to the camera at all. If we get into the rapids and there are some tense moments for you, I wouldn't want you to hold back any words, even if you swear, honestly. And I'd include those in the film. I'd beep them out because that's reality. I'll have a GoPro hidden in your canoe that will capture your face expressions and any words that you say as Bill and I film you from shore. But other than that, it'll all be through voiceover that will be written after the film is done. So we went into it with that idea, and then I knew we would be facing all kinds of different conditions or challenges, and so I thought I would write the script around what we experienced, because that would be the footage that I would have captured. So it went in there with just that general idea, and then due to everything that we experienced, the rest of the story kind of came to be. And I'll get into this a little bit as well, that I get into telling a bit of David's own story. So the story of David's life and why he ended up getting into canoeing, getting lost in nature in the first place, and due to experiences in his youth, and which I'll let the film explain. And I don't want to explain any more than what he's given me the liberty to share, but I wanted people to, I guess, be able to look at themselves and look at the reasons as to why they do it. What has caused them to seek sanctuary in the wilderness? What has caused them to seek sanctuary by paddling a canoe by themselves? And the film explains a bit of why David chose to do that. And my own reasons are very much the same. And I think a lot of canoeists will relate to that. So, I didn't go in there with an exact word-for-word script written, just a general idea. And thankfully, after the filming was finished and I reviewed all the footage, it really came obvious that I should tell a bit of David's personal story through this too. And as long as he would be okay with it, and he was. And so we worked through that over quite a bit of time. And the end result, you get a little snippet into David's personal life. I will say this as well, that at the time, David's mother was going through a lot of concerns health-wise, and her health wasn't very good. She was a fortress in his life. And so at the time of filming, her health was in grave concern. He still came out and did the project and allowed me to talk about it in the film. Well, in 2023, David's mother actually passed away. And so the film is dedicated to her memory. And so being able to share a bit of her story of her fortitude and valor in raising her children, it was an honor to do that. So I couldn't have had that script written at the time either, right? So all of those things came about afterwards over the next few years after filming. So there's a little snippet, I suppose.
Yes, it is. It's yes. I got nothing. I follow David, so I've seen snippets as well, and big hug from me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So a million hours later of editing and stuff. Did it, as you were editing, was it intentional to end up in the 47 minutes, I think is the number? Because the North to South was quite a bit longer, hour 15, something like that.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. Yeah. It's very close to that. Yeah. It was, I wanted it under an hour. And I did that just, I think, for viewer retention for one. I learned with North to South as well. The chapters, I think, are helpful because people, for a longer video or film, they'll watch a chapter, then leave, then come back and watch another chapter later. So I did an introductory segment for the Canoeist and then 2 chapters. North to South was 5. I did it at under an hour because I thought, I didn't know how this would work. But if any TV network ever wanted to grab this, they would have some room for commercials and it would fill up an hour segment. So I have no idea if that will actually ever happen. Probably not. But that was the idea, actually, was making it so it could work with television if it ever got to that point.
Excellent idea. Because yes, 47 minutes is about right. But on that topic, I mean, who knows? Having worked in film, I know about, festivals and stuff like that. So I've started to look into some, and it's like a 50-minute, 55-minute cutoff to go from a short to a full length. And I think, especially for people that, because you're looking at a fairly wide audience, for people that aren't the nuts like us that are out there, paddling and stuff like that, that don't, I think it's a great thing to put it in as a short, because their attention span, as to your point about chapters, their attention span won't wander as much. I think that has a really good potential to hit home with them in that time frame. Just thoughts that I've had. All right. So I want everybody to go watch it. Tell us where they're going to be able to see it, when they're going to be able to see it.
So it's going to be premiering on my YouTube channel, Latitude Wilderness Films, Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I've been giving away little snippets here and there through social media over the last month or so. And then, the thing will go live March 27th at 7 p.m. I'll be glad when that's finally done.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yes, folks, if you haven't seen the shorts and the reels that Pete's put out, I'm pretty sure, well, because you tagged me in them, you could go to our Instagram account. I honestly don't know what the heck I've been doing on YouTube lately. We're stupidly busy with recording like every opportunity we have these days. So I don't know what I'm doing at all. But go check out, if you don't see Pete's Latitude's Instagram, check out ours, because the shorts are there as well. And they're stunning, and they're just little bits, just tiny glimpses into what is, honest to God, it's a work of art, man. Like it's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
That South was so immersive. That was the thing I felt with. It felt like you were in that place.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, history, like the storytelling isn't one dimensional. There's many layers to it, which I think is, again, it's fantastic stuff, man.
Yeah. Thank you both. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
Was there anything that happened in the filming, Pete, that was unexpected? Anything that went awry? Anything that you said it was
nothing went wrong. That's the thing. Nothing went wrong. It went
Yeah.
perfectly great. That's the thing, is like we were so blessed to have the conditions that we did, the scenes that we did, the scenery that we got. It was just amazing. Like I see little flubs here and there where it's like, because David would have to do things 3 or 4 times. And one thing is like all the rapid shots, David had to run each rapid 3 times. Right. So that's how much this takes to do. Right. And so you film it from different angles and anyways, so everything, all that went great. It was just amazing how well it all went. So I was stoked with everything that we were able to accomplish and film and do during that 5-day period, where it was, who knew what the weather was going to be, or if David would tip over and all his stuff was going to be lost. I mean, you just have no idea. But we were blessed with the best conditions absolutely possible. So
it's good for you. I was thinking that at one point it must have been brutal to have, because you're dealing with nature. Mm-hmm. Nature's not interested in following your script. Mm-hmm. So continuity, like shot continuity, must have been difficult to do.
Very, very, yeah, very challenging. And even piecing together chapter 1 to chapter 2 to try and keep a story moving was tricky, because I didn't even have the idea of doing 2 chapters and how one would flow into the next. I'm just out there filming everything that I can with a general idea of what I want to do. And then you have to piece it together. And so thankfully it worked out okay. And even continuity between the chapters, even though they were done on different days, looks like it's one day. And it wasn't. It was 2 days. It was over. There was a night in between there. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So,
yeah, and it didn't look like I've paddled the French before. Windbound was a thing. Mm-hmm. Headwinds on an 8-day trip. I think I spent about 15 minutes with a tailwind.
Yeah,
that's the way so all of those things, right?
Yeah. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and it didn't matter whether I was paddling into Georgian Bay or paddling out of Georgian Bay. Headwind,
always,
the whole time,
always. Headwind suck.
But gorgeous, like those rocks and stuff is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely one of the most picturesque places to paddle in our province, no question.
Well, I'm glad. You know what? Just I'm glad you chose David. He's a good. He's an outdoorsman, a good paddler, and he, for whatever it was, like he looked like he was in the moment, but he was introspective throughout as well, which is kind of David.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he'll tell you, like, he hated the acting part. He was relieved when I told him he didn't have to say anything, and that, the story was going to be told through voiceover and whatnot. And so he was like, "Oh, that's great. Thank you." But, and so he'll be the first to tell you that he felt awkward on the other end of the camera for once, because he films people all the time. But for him to have to do things 3-4 times, me telling him, okay, do that again a little slower, lift that up and put that on your shoulders again, just a little bit slower. I know it's grueling, but please do it. He was so great. He was great to deal with. He never once complained. He loved the experience. And we got to know him. Like we had talked, David and I, for probably about a year before we actually did this. And this was the first time we met in person. So I knew he would be a solid dude. I mean, no question, but I was floored when I actually met him in person of just how kind and genuine he was. And he remains that way to this day through this whole process. So, in fact, our friendship is just getting, I'd say, stronger as the years have gone on, especially in the talks of this coming out, everything he's been dealing with, and I have too. We're drawing a lot closer together as friends, and we're going to be doing a trip together in September, of 2026, into Quebec. So I'm pretty stoked for that one. So yeah, I couldn't have picked a better guy to be the canoeist other than David.
I was going to say that's a good paddle partner right there, man.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And will you be filming this Quebec trip?
That's to be determined. So that it's a big whitewater trip. And so I don't know how that will go. And it's myself and David, and there's 2 other fellows coming along with us. We're each solo canoeing. So I don't know how it'll go with filming. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that. What I will say though is Bill and I have paddled the Mississippi River over the last couple of years. We did it in 2 different trips, and we filmed the entire thing. And I'd like to do a documentary about that in the same style as North to South. And I have hopes of doing some interviews with people and taking North to South up another level in terms of quality and cinematography, all of that stuff. So that's going to be the project that begins as soon as the Canoeist is released. And so I don't know how much more I want to film and try and put out while I'm working on that one. So that's where I think I'll put my focus, but who knows? My mind might change, and we'll see. We'll see.
Well, speaking of mind changes, I think when we talked last time, you were, who the heck was it? You were, who's the
Gray Owl.
Gray Owl? That was it. You were toying with doing something with that.
Right.
Did you get started into it? Did you just go, nope, I'm doing the Canoeist?
Right. I did shift to the Canoeist. I did put out a little trailer because I filmed an introductory segment, edited that segment, and then began to get a storyline together. I got details of Gray Owl's life together. And then the Canoeist came up, and I did shift focus to that. The Gray Owl project is one that I still really want to do, but I'm going to be vulnerable here. That's a very hard one to do, just because of I want to do it absolutely perfectly. And so Gray Owl, he struggled with a lot of addiction issues and things like that. And I really want to focus on that topic. So bringing in a real world, hard, difficult topic into a canoeing documentary. So it's deeply personal to me, and I really want to do it well. And so I'm not going to do that one until my slate's totally clear of any other projects or anything like that. The footage might be 10 years old by that point, but so be it. I think the what I would like to share and with the world about those kind of issues, I think would be relevant at that time too. So that's where I'm at with that one.
Cool. Well, I highly doubt that those issues would ever not be relevant.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the crazy world we live in now.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it for us for today. Thank you so much to Pete Park from Latitude Wilderness Films for giving us all the inside scoop on his upcoming The Canoeist film on YouTube. Please check it out on Friday, the 27th of March, 2026 at 7 p.m. And check him out on Instagram. He's at latitudes.films. And you can check us out while you're there. We are at super_good_camping on Instagram, and we're on all the social media. And if you would like to talk to us, you can email anytime. We are at hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.